Okay, so today I want to continue the process of actually finding a 14th club for my bag. So as you guys know, I have been playing 13 clubs technically. Haven't had a 3-wood, just had the 5-wood, then directly to the 4-iron. Obviously some pretty big gaps in there. I've toyed with the idea of adding wedges, but for now I want to experiment with the long end of the bag, see if adding a hybrid and changing the configuration of the 5-wood is probably the better route to go versus adding another wedge. I won't say I'm completely finished with that. I may test out some different loft wedges just to see if that offers me an advantage on the golf course. But to start the season, I want to try this experiment first. So I'm going to adjust the 5-wood as the starting point for today's video. What I've done is gone flat setting the way it was. Originally it was at 17.5 degree loft. I'm going to loft it down to 16.5. Basically the point of this is to take it from being about a 255 club to being about a 270 club, or maybe 265 minimum. Make that the 3-wood because I really don't need to hit a wood any further than that for purposes on the course. And then add in a hybrid, which I'll try. First I'm going to try the Ping hybrid that kind of matches this one, just because I like the feel of them in the long clubs. I think they're very forgiving and just a straightforward choice. So I'm going to start by getting some numbers with this, see if this does fill the gap as that kind of 270 club, and then we'll move on to the hybrid. Good hit to start. What's that going to fly? Yeah, about 260. It's a good hit as well. A little further, just over 260. It's a good swing. Very neutral. Good, that's probably about as well as I can hit that club distance-wise. Turn it over a little bit, perfect yardage. Okay, good. Yeah, I mean this, I think for the sake of this experiment, it's doing what I wanted it to do. It's flying another 5-10 yards at least, filling in that 3-wood roll quite nicely. So this is what occurred with the 5-wood lofted down, basically making it a 4-wood with a short shaft. It pretty much serves the purpose. I mean, the average is a bit low because I flew the first couple a bit short, but I can see, this is the first few swings I'm making of the day, so I think if I was a little more warmed into it, probably see that 265, 270 number. So I think this is perfect. I'm going to move on to test the hybrid and see if I can fill in the gap between this and a 4-iron. So I've got the green set to about 238. I'd like to see the ball just kind of fly onto the surface, probably about a 235 ball, or just a little bit on either side of that is just fine. So I've got the Ping G425. It's the 4 hybrid, the 22 degree. Technically speaking, I'm replacing the 3-iron spot on my bag, but as you guys will know, hybrid shafts and distance-wise, just from the head, it's going to go further than the equivalent iron. So I'm not trying to replace my 4-iron, but I guarantee you this will go further than my 4-iron. So I'm going to use it as a 3-iron replacement. I think it's going to fill the yardage quite well. And I do have it on the flat setting because it's just something I prefer. Sits a little bit nicer for me and just allows me to not overshape the ball left to right. Well, so let's just see how far this goes. I pushed it, but that yardage is perfect. Wouldn't change a thing about that yardage. Better swing. Hit the green, yeah, I don't mind that at all. Hit that one nice. Now I am just testing this with the stock Ping Alta CB. That's all I have access to. It does feel a little bit on the loose side for me, so I'm not going to be super judgmental about the ball flight. I mean, generally with a softer shaft, I do see a bit more of a draw than normal. That's fine. I mean, I'm keeping that in mind. The head feels really good. The ball flight is really good. The numbers are basically what I'm looking for. And I know I can order, or honestly just swap out a hybrid shaft that I have from a different club. That was a good one. I think this is perfect. Usually I kind of know it when I see it in terms of a club that's going to suit me. And even I didn't hit that one perfect, and it's basically going to go with a bit of a low heel strike. Still going to go almost the same yardage. So if I put those swings in with the hybrid, I mean, the dispersion circle looks a bit worse than it was. I left that first one in that was a bit of a push just because I struck it well and it had good numbers. Didn't want to exclude it, but exactly what I was looking for was about 20 yards between that 5-wood, 4-wood thing that I've created and the hybrid, so about a 240 club, which I think it's going to be. As I said, I left in a couple miss hits. That last one only flew 233, so I think it's a comfortable 240 club. I think the 5-wood is a comfortable 265 club, so as I said, 20, 25 yards in there is a perfect gap. And now it's really just a question of making sure that my 4-iron goes a distance that makes sense with this. So the 4-iron carry, I'd probably be looking for about a 225 carry on the 4-iron. So I'm just going to quickly hit a couple and make sure that this is actually making sense. Pretty good. It does look like it's about a 230 club. Yeah, so I mean I'd be really happy with those 3 4-irons. Let's just take a look at let's take a look at the numbers. You know what, it's really not too bad. When you look at, the first 2, as I mentioned, I did leave in some miss hits just to be realistic, but I would say 265, 245 were probably the warmed in numbers that I would get on a little bit more of a particular average. So with that in mind, sure, there's about a 15-yard gap here. And I think the 4-iron is quite functional. The spin's a little bit low and the yardage can get a little bit hot, as you saw. A couple of those went 230, 232. So one thing I may consider is maybe just half a degree more loft on the 4-iron. That would probably add a little bit more spin, take a yard or 2 off the yardage. This is probably what I'm going to go with for the beginning of 2022. Now, I don't have access to a ton of different demos at the moment. I have a couple different models, but they're a bit limited in lefty. So I know a lot of you are saying, like, what are you doing trying one hybrid? You only tried the Ping. I get it, but I do get along well with Ping hybrids and fairways. It does match sort of the look and feel of my 4-wood that's been really reliable. So for now, I'm just going to go with that, go with my instinct. I don't want to overcomplicate it, but for the purposes of the channel, don't worry. Like, I'll still hit other hybrids and do some testing here and there, and I'll let you guys know if something comes up that I find even more forgiving and consistent. But for now, I think that Ping hybrid is perfect. Fits the gap basically exactly between the 4-iron and the 3-wood, 4-wood, whatever you want to call it. So there you go. That's the 14 clubs I'm going to use to start the season. I'll let you know what shaft ends up going in the hybrid. I have a couple at home that I can swap in there. So maybe just check out my Instagram if you want to see what I end up popping in there. Thanks for watching.